wiping my phone. Hold on. My lens was, oh, that is so much better. So much better. Good evening, good evening, good evening, evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening, evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hiya, y'all. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Good evening, everybody. I pray that your day was well. I pray that you got some great news on today. I pray that your day was absolutely amazing. I pray that you and your family are safe. I pray that all things are working together. How about I declare that all things are working together for your good, right? What else? I pray that you all are safe. I pray that you are feeling dynamic. I pray that every day you're making healthier choices. Sidebar, I need to find my water. Um, I pray that you smiled today. I pray that you giggled. I pray that you laughed. I pray that you made the most of every single moment. I pray that you were productive. I pray that you were focusing on progression instead of perfection. I pray that you excel in everything that you do. So, good evening once again. For those of you all who do not know me, my name is Dr. JaNee Mobley, affectionately known as Dr. JaNee. I work with God fearing women who work a 9 to 5 and are ready to turn their idea into a moneymaker, all while they work their job. So, y'all come on in. Make sure you share this live broadcast, invite a few people, send it as a text message. Would love to have you. So, just sidebar, October 14th, I am hosting the Know Your Worth conference, and I'm so excited about it. I'm working with a group of women to help them to take their idea and make money from it. This is a very interactive conference. There won't just be no sitting there looking at me and taking notes and thinking you're just going to go home and implement on your own. We're going to do some work while we are there. I am all about implementation. I understand that implementation beats conversation any day. Why? Because we're going to tell on Dr. JaNee. For so many years, I was one that I did a whole lot of talking and I did less implementation. And why? Because of the stories that I allowed to replay in my head. I dealt with procrastination. I dealt with insecurity. I dealt with the lack of confidence. And now that I have overcome that, I have such a drive and passion to teach my clients to help them to overcome the same. One of the things that I truly understand a lot of the times is not that people don't know what to do, is that they know what to do, but they just don't do it for a lack of consistency, making excuses, all because there are underlying stories that are replaying in your head of insecurity, underlying traumas that you haven't confronted. And I'm all about confronting the things that are uncomfortable. Why? Because when we confront the things that are uncomfortable, we will be free. The Bible tells us that the truth will make us free. Understand that the truth consists of two things: the word of God and being honest with yourself. And one of the reasons why people are walking around in bondage is because they're not being honest with themselves. They are living a lie. And what they don't realize is that it will continue to keep them in a dark space and in a dark place and lead them down a path that they just don't want to go on. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that every time that I'm on, you are joining me. I'm just letting y'all know I have committed to going live daily for as long as I can, right? Because one of the things, and I'm gonna get into my topic in a minute, one of the things that I had to truly understand about business is that you can have the best product, you can have the best service, but if nobody knows about it, or the people that you are called to serve and support do not know about it, it is just something that is sitting on the shelf. All it is an idea, right? Your goal is to get your message out there, to get your product out there. Excuse me. So that when your ideal customer, the person that you want to work with, the person that needs you, the person that needs your product, wants your product, desires your product, always thinks about you when they are ready. Right now, I am studying McDonald's, and one of the things that I have observed about McDonald's for years is McDonald's has been stellar about marketing. They have been stellar about getting their brand out there in the marketplace. They have been stellar about keeping their name out there so that anytime anyone, or especially someone's children, because I realize a lot of the times marketing for McDonald's is tailored toward a younger crowd, although there are older people who go to McDonald's. But when people are hungry, the first company that McDonald's wants them to think about is Mickey D's, right? So they continue to market themselves after being a multi-billion dollar company for all of these years. Why? Because they want to continue to drive sales. They want to continue to make money. Why do these companies invest millions of dollars to showcase their brand during the Super Bowl, during commercials? Because they want people to think about their company, their brand, when they have a need for whatever it is that they offer. So I want to encourage you with that. So tonight we're going to talk about it's all going to be worth it. It's all going to be worth it. So I want you to think about, especially if you are the woman who works and she has many hats. If you're anything like me, you're a wife, you're a mom, you work, you do a whole bunch of things, right? And you're building a business. And sometimes it can seem overwhelming. Sometimes it can be a lot. And sometimes that's the actual truth because you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to balance it all. How do I manage being a wife? How do I continue to serve my husband? Well, that is the priority, right? I want to make and always make God first, my husband next, and my children as well next. And putting myself after God, really, because I know that in order for me, and this has to be a separate live because that can be a whole thing, but in order for me to be the best for everybody else, I have to take care of me first. I got to fill my cup first. So if you have a lot going on, especially while you're trying to build your business, I want to encourage you that it's all going to be worth it. When I started working my job and I started working my business, I would always say that God gave me this, that the short term sacrifice will lead to a long term gain. Short term sacrifice for a long term gain. Hi, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Ramona. I pray I am. Forgive me if I really mess that up. Let me know if I mess that up, right? So as you are, yay me, right? Thank you for joining me. So I want you to understand that as you are building your company while you're working your job, that it's all going to be worth it. Why? Because you have a vision for your life. You have a vision for your family. You have a vision for your business. Keep those visions in mind. Think about why you started your company, right? And I always want you to always consider the big why. The why is even more necessary than the how. I remember some years ago when I was in network marketing, and at the time it was prepaid legal. Right now it is Legal Shield, still the dynamic company. And when they brought me in, the first question when we would have trainings, they would ask us, what is your why? And they used to always say that your why should make you cry. And what they were saying is the reason why you are in business should be much deeper than how much money you want to make, right? Because what will happen is if you're just driven by money, you'll be on a roller coaster, right? You'll be on a roller coaster. You'll have so many peaks and valleys. You'll grind, but you'll never set up a system that will provide you with longevity. You'll never set up a system that will cause you to expand. So while you are on your journey of building your business, period, you want to discover the why for your business. What is the big reason? What will you do with the money when God puts it in your hands? What will you do with the millions when you have it available, right? I'm going to sub to you. Okay. I think. What does that mean? I'm going to sub to you. Help me out, Ramona. Um. Okay. I just saw a text message. Y'all forgive me. All right. And help me with the details. I'm going to sub to you. Forgive me if I don't know what the shorthand is, right? So you want to make sure that you have your why. Good evening, y'all. You want to make sure that your why is very, very detailed. So as an example, I always think about what the money, thank you for forgiving me. I always think about what the money will do for me and my family. I want to be able to do things for my mom. I want to be able to pay bills off for her whenever she has it. I want to be able to support my husband in his business. I want to be able, my goal and I will is for my husband and I to wake up in the morning and go to a bank, go to a property management company and pay somebody's rent for the year. Right? I want to pay somebody's mortgage off. I want to be a blessing. Why? Because I know what it's like to evict myself. My husband and I evicted ourselves from our apartment in 2012 and we ended up being homeless. We stayed with family. We slept overnight in our vehicle. So one of the things is as God blesses me, I want to be a blessing. I truly believe that to whom much is given, much is required. This is what the money will allow me to do. This is what the money will allow me to do. Who do you want to help? What organizations do you want to start? I was talking with my coach and she says one of her big things, and I didn't realize that this was a thing, is that people buy people back, children back from child trafficking. There are companies that do that. How amazing would it be for you to have the kind of income, the kind of financial support where you can just write a check, where you could just wire cash to save a child from being trafficked? How amazing would that be? Again, it's not about the money, it is what the money will provide you and give you access for. Think about this. The Bible tells us that we shall owe no man nothing but to love him. Think about waking up in the morning and you have so much money in your bank account. You can go buy any house, any vehicle, anything for anybody that you desire. Your why has to be so much bigger than you. And this is what you do with your why is you allow your why to drive you. It will keep you focused. It will keep you encouraged when you don't see the results that you want to see at the time. This is what your why does. So you have to be crystal clear about it. And if you are a person who has not started your business but desires your business, to build your business while you're working your job, let that be the first thing that you do. Get crystal clear on why you're doing this. It has to be more than making money and helping people. Because the reality of it is you are going to help people and you are going to make money, but you want it to be deeper than that. You want it to be emotionally driven. You want it to be focused. You want it to be something that ignites you even when you don't feel like doing it. You're talking to a person who wakes up at about 5 o'clock in the morning, go work a job, get 3 children up and out of the house, and come home, do homework, do all of these things, and I'm sitting here looking at y'all tonight. Why? Because I understand that it's bigger than me. I understand that this, what God has given me, is so much bigger than me. And I want you to be crystal clear on why you're doing what you're doing, because I want you to know that it's all going to be worth it. I want you to visualize where you will be as long as you consistently focus on building your business a year from now. Think about the position that you'll be in. If you wanted to leave your job, you will be in position to do so. Think about that. How amazing would that feel to be able to do such a thing? To be able to write that letter of resignation, because we want to do things the right way. Because this is the other thing now. Y'all may be excited about really like leaving your job, but I want to put this pin in there. You always want to maintain a great relationship, because who's to say that your company may not end up being your client? Who's to say that your immediate supervisor or your CEO may not end up being a client or a customer of yours? So whenever you separate, you want it to be on positive terms. You want it to be on good terms, so that if y'all happen to come face to face again, you will be in a position where a door will be opened up for you. Okay? So the first thing is this. And I had some notes, but God done took me on a whole tangent. So, but that's what he does. So I want you to think about the benefits. The short-term sacrifice will be worth the long-term gain. So what are the benefits in you hunkering down and really, really focusing on building your business? Right? If your goal is to quit your job, if your goal is to put your kids in a private school and pay cash for it, if your goal is to donate and build an organization of your own, think about the benefits of making that short term sacrifice. Right? And I'm almost done. Number two, and I want you to understand that building your business while you are working your job is uncomfortable. It is not something you feel like doing. Sometimes it means having late nights and getting up early in the morning. You speaking to somebody who has to get that phone while the kids are asleep, and I'm posting, I'm scheduling posts, I'm doing what I have to do. Why? Because the short-term sacrifice will be worth the long-term gain. You always have to fixate that in your mind. The short-term sacrifice, me staying up at night, and I'm not saying that you have to do this every night, because on different lives, I'm going to be sharing with you all, especially if you are married. Sometimes you got to say, you know what, I'm hanging this up. I'm going to go spend time with my husband, if you know what I mean, and give him that time. Because all of this, it requires a level of harmony. You're doing this for us even when you work. Exactly. Exactly. Like, seriously. Right? So you want to make sure that you have a level of harmony in your life, in every area of your life. You may not stay up every single night. You may not get up extra early every single morning, but there are times where you may have to make that short-term sacrifice, right? For the long-term gain. So right now I am preparing for the Know Your Worth conference that's happening October 14th. The link is in the description, and I'm so excited about it. Okay. Okay. And it's all centered around helping God-fearing women take their idea and make money from it, right? So right now, a part of that is making that sacrifice to stay up a little bit late and do what I need to do. A part of that is being live with y'all when I would love to be in the room sleep, which is what I'm about to do in a couple of minutes. But I have to make this sacrifice for the long-term gain. Nobody is going to go out there and market my business any better than me. Right? So you have to make sure that you keep this in mind. Also, and last thing, I want you to visualize what it is that you want for your life. What is the vision that God has shown you? What has He shown you in terms of your purpose? What has He shown you in terms of what you are going to do in your business? What does it look like? How does it feel? Who is present? I want you to close your eyes and feel and see what that looks like. One of the things that I understand is that just like God made us very similar to Him, that we have the power to speak things that be not as though they are, right? And just like God, before we were formed in our mother's womb, He knew us. He framed us, right? He knew what we would look like. So in that same instant, God has given you the vision before the vision has even manifested itself in the natural. Okay? It has manifested itself before it has manifested itself in the natural. He's already given it to you. What does it look like? Now, I want you to understand that in order for that vision that's over here to happen in the natural realm, you have to come into agreement with it in the spirit. But what that looks like is, because it's already done, that is one thing that I understand, that your vision is already done. How do I know that? Well, when we go, and a lot of our evidence is in the scripture, the promises that He made for the children of Israel is that they will be delivered and that they will go into the promised land. Now, the only thing that kept the earlier generation from getting into the promised land is their mentality and their attitude and their lack of belief and disobedience. But if you read further in the book of Joshua, they obtained and walked into the promise. But two things had to happen. Faith had to meet the work. I'm going to say that again. Their faith, which is their belief, and their hope had to meet the work. I can sit here all day and say, well, I'm hoping and praying that God, that I'm going to make $1 million, I'm going to make 6 figures and all of this stuff. But if my faith doesn't meet my work, then I won't get the result. One thing I understand is the reason what separates people who are successful in business and even in health from those who are not is that their faith meets their work. They believe they can do it and they do it. They see it and they do it. They don't see an impossibility. They see what has already occurred. And all they're doing is they're just doing the work so that they will see the manifestation of the vision that God has given them. Thank you, Ramona. And this is what this is all about. Your idea and what God has given you will cause other people to not only be inspired, but transformed. It's so much bigger than us. But we have to understand that the short term sacrifice will be worth the long term gain. Is it uncomfortable? Absolutely. But comfort was never promised to us, right? Comfort was never promised to us. Content is what he told us to be. So I'm going to wrap this up. I promise I'm going to be with y'all tomorrow night. Make sure y'all subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you all for joining me, because guess what? Y'all could be anywhere. Y'all could be doing anything. But I appreciate you all for joining me. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so that anytime that I'm on, you join me, because I'll be here on tomorrow. And as always, remember to know your worth. You are so welcome. And for those of you all who want details on the Know Your Worth conference, click the link in the description. See y'all tomorrow. Good night. Mwah.